Thank you so much. I find the clicker here. Thank you so much. Good morning, everyone. How are you all doing? It's so nice to be live again. I've spent COVID speaking a lot, but on the computer, and what better to be on an actual stage with live audience, and I'm speaking about fashion. So today's keynote about how fashion expresses who you are and sense of who you are and what you stand for. It's really a totally different topic to what I'm used to talking about. I am a keynote speaker, I do a lot of keynotes, but this is the very first time I've stepped on stage to talk about fashion. And I used to be in fashion. I started my entrepreneurship in fashion, and I was a designer. I designed a yoga clothing company, a yoga-inspired clothing company called Chakras by Didi. And then I sold that in 2018. It was very successful. I was known in the yoga world, traveled all around. Then I stepped right into being a mother, and I have 4 little children. It's important, I think, as a keynote speaker, when you don't know the person who's on stage, for you to get to know me, because the words that I speak to you will actually resonate much more, and you will trust and let my words guide you to get out to the door and take action. So for me, when I speak, it's very important that I can inspire you in some way and to make you feel and think in some way. It's not so much about my words, it's about how you feel when you're watching me and listening to me, and how I can propel you to go out there in the world to do something good, especially for yourself when we're talking about fashion. So I hope that in the next 28 minutes or so, I can do justice and be an advocate for you to really guide you to have more confidence in fashion, in your fashion sense, as well as in your fashion choices, because we have to make them every single day. So I want to volunteer to stand up, and it's a simple task that I'm going to ask you to do, so don't be afraid. Yep, gentleman right there. All I want you to do is, I'm on the red carpet, you got the mic on, and you're just going to ask, Didi, what are you wearing?
Didi, what are you wearing?
Well, thank you for asking. Thank you very much. So, of course, if we're talking about fashion, I want to be really fun, and it's bold, and it's being yourself and being a personality. What I'm wearing today is something I specifically chose to win this award today, as well as to speak to you today, because we are here to have fun. We are here talking about fashion. And so my top is from YMX, which is a very prominent fashion designer in Egypt, actually. And as I talk about what I'm wearing, I'm going to tell you how, when you go to different places, where you go to different hotels, where you go to different shops, how the journey of deciding what you buy can actually take you through nostalgia. And so when I'm talking about my top, this is my very first time wearing this, but I bought it back in March of 2020. It was my last trip before COVID. I was invited to Egypt to win an award from the Egyptian government, and I just happened to be shopping in Cairo, and at the Ritz-Carlton, there was this really cool shop. And of course, I love fashion. It's not my job anymore, but I do love to look around, and I still love shopping, maybe a little bit addicted to shopping. And so I saw this top, and I have this thing where I don't need an actual occasion to buy something. And same with giving presents. If I see something and I know it's going to be such a great gift for my friends, I would just buy it and leave it in my cupboard at home, and I will know when to use it. So this occasion invited me to wear this beautiful, kind of a little bit out there kind of top. And lo and behold, I didn't know I was going to win this fashion award, and it was perfect timing for me to wear it. And then my pants are just Spanx, just so you know. I'm very real. I have 4 children, so I need to keep my stomach in. And then my shoes, which are really beautiful, but they're just Steve Madden. So I used to be a Steve Madden shoe model, so I'm a perfect size 6. Therefore, their shoes just fit me perfectly, and I can still wear high heels standing here for a good time. Now, I'm going to switch gears a little bit. Last month, I was invited to meet His Holiness, the Pope in Rome. So I flew over to Rome taking COVID test after COVID test after COVID test. By the way, I don't have COVID because I've taken so many tests. And I wanted to tell you this story because it was very interesting to me what they asked me to wear when I was meeting the Pope. I had all my, my outfit in my head. I knew I wanted to wear. But then I got an email only a day before I was taking the plane to Rome, and they said, please keep your outfit very dark and no heels. I said, no heels? Oh my God, I'm only 5 feet. I have to wear heels. So when I went there, I found myself a jumpsuit. It was a black jumpsuit. And then we had to wear a rosary that was blessed by the Pope in advance to be there. And it was like a tux jumpsuit. And you can check my picture on this on my Instagram, Didi Wong Official. So you can see what I'm talking about. And by the way, all this to tell you, really for you to get to know me a little bit more and enjoy the speech a little bit more. So I went to the Pope and I met him. I had about 5 minutes with him talking about how we're going to do a lot of great things for his foundation. And because they told me not to wear high heels and I was wearing a really long tux jumpsuit that went down to here, I was thinking, well, you know what? I'm going to wear my high heels because nobody's going to see it. I'll be walking around with my pants all the way down. And so what I'm saying is, you got to know the rules to break the rules. And when it comes into life, in business, as well as in lifestyle, as well as in fashion. So those are some takeaways that I want you to get right off the bat. Okay, so here we go. I'm going to click on play. Okay, so I have 2 pictures on there. Both of them are beautiful women, but you may have some judgment on them right away in your head, and you may not. Most people in this world, when they see that shot of the lady on the right, would probably think she's way too thin, or that she's so model-like, right? Because we have come to be accustomed to models being this figure. And then on the left, also a beautiful woman, but she's a little heavier set, right, in our perception of her, because we are in fashion and we look at these magazines and we have the media to guide us and influence us on what we think. But both of them are beautiful women in my eyes. But why is it that we have to accustom ourselves to what we see in the magazines, what we see on TV, and what we see on celebrities? And so my speech today is really deeper in depth than just what I'm putting on. I started off with some fun facts, but I really want to turn to being a little bit serious right now, because fashion can really help you with your confidence. And being a communication and speaking coach, very much when you step on a stage, when you get an audience, when you get to even speak to one person, which is your audience, you have to have some type of self-worth and self-confidence. And if you have a healthy sense of self, that's when you can shine. And I attribute my mega success to the fact that I am a very confident woman. I am Chinese. I came to America from Hong Kong. I got sent by my parents to a boarding school at the age of 9 to be independent. So most people, actually earlier, a gentleman over here asked me, where are you from? Where's your accent from? Most people ask me where I'm from based on my accent. But sometimes when I'm wearing form-fitting clothing, they ask me based on my figure. So I've had all my life had to deal with this. At the age of 15, my mom actually took me to a plastic surgeon and asked the doctor if he could do something about my butt. Now, this might be funny to you now, and I can say it as a funny story, but back then when I was 15, when I was just growing my sense of self, and in my teenager years as a woman, all of you women know, and all of you women who have teenagers know, that's the real growth in how to adopt confidence, how to get a sense of who you are. And so when I went into that plastic surgeon, I remember it was cold, it was just white walls, and the doctor was in white lab coat. It was just like, why is she talking about my butt right now? And I couldn't quite fathom why my mother was not approving of me. So my body shape and my look has never been that normal Chinese girl look. In fact, the story that we just shared on the table here, he's like, you don't look Chinese. And it's true, I don't look Chinese. But I've now, at age 45, come to embrace who I am, embrace the uniqueness of me, because every one of you is unique. You don't have to look like anybody else. So what if you don't like my top? I love my top, and it makes me happy, right? So if you can start to really think about how fashion is really an enhancement of confidence, of who you are, and get a sense of where you're from, how you like things, what is your mood. That will really help you enjoy each and every day when you wake up and you go to your closet and you decide on what you wear. Okay, so what is fashion? It's personal, it's intimate, it's a choice you make every day, it's art, it's creative. See it as art, and you can create every single day. Try something different every day. To experiment. It's a telltale of what you are feeling and how you are. So for some of you, if I may ask you to be bold and put up your hand, when you saw me come on here and you saw what I wore before I even spoke, were there words that you already had in your mind to judge me? Yes, go ahead, please. Magnificent. Oh, thank you. Go ahead. And please don't be afraid to say anything negative. If it really happened in your mind, there was negative thoughts, please, because this is an exercise that I want to help you guys. Yeah, go ahead. Yeah.
Oh, great. I thought that she's confident and bold, and I have to meet her.
Oh, thank you. Yes, the gentleman here. Distinctive. Great adjective. Yes. Great, great. Yes. Just one more.
I thought costume designer, and I have to meet her because she looks like she came right off the set of Bridgerton.
Oh, Bridgerton. Okay, cool. Well, thank you. Those are very positive ideas, but I will say there have to be some people in here who may not like what I'm wearing, right? Because it really is a beauty in the eye of the beholder. So it's okay that you may not like what I'm wearing, but I, again, am who I am, and I need you to adopt this thinking every single day when you go out there and you're trying to conquer the world, you're trying to make that money, you're trying to impress people. You've got to, it's not just what you wear, you see how my energy comes out of what I wear, right? And my smile, and how I'm presenting to you with my body language. All of that comes into play, and fashion just adds to it. Now, if you are a woman or a man who are not exactly 100% happy with your body, by the way, I'm 15 pounds over my normal weight right now because of COVID. So and the thing is, I am heavier than I'm used to, but because my inner confidence is so good, and that I know I can make a difference every time I step on that stage, I don't care if I'm 15 pounds over, right? So this is, again, an adoption of a thinking, of a perspective, of inner ideas, of your own devil voice that goes into your head every single day. I don't look good enough. I'm too fat. Oh, today I should have salad. Oh, I shouldn't have that soda. All of those things come into play. And this is psychology. Because Michael earlier, who is the speaker before me, was telling me he studies fashion psychology. Because fashion truly is psychology. You walk into your closet, you look at your clothes, oh my God, I just don't feel so good today. Maybe I'll just hide myself by wearing black. You know you have those thinking in your mind, right? So it tells you a telltale how you're feeling, how confident you are or not. It tells us your mood. It's a form of expression, a silent form of expression that gives away so much of who you are and what you may stand for. It's fun. It is fun. It turns celebrities into icons and has every fan wanting to dress the same. That's how powerful fashion is. So, for example, remember Madonna back in the 80s? That's my era, when she made the cone boobs very fashionable. And every time you see anybody wear something with that style, you know it's attributed to Madonna. Same with Lady Gaga. She had a period of her time when she just wore different things. This was a meat dress that she wore, which was just ridiculous, but she owned it, right? And that's why these celebrities, they are confident in what they are, so they make something as crazy as boob cones and meat dresses to be acceptable, right? And then, of course, we cannot talk about fashion without talking about Jennifer Lopez and that green dress. This dress literally made her name. And so that was back in the 90s. And this one on the right was just a few months ago when she wore it again at the Versace fashion show. So it's very cool how that dress made her, and she has the journey of remembering that, and to this day, she can be proud of being fit and obviously proud of her body, and she takes care of herself so she can redo that same dress in a different fashion and still wow us. And then, of course, I love the Spice Girls because I was in England when they were very famous, and I used to wear those big platform suits as well. So and they were very, very prominent in influencing the women, probably in Europe more than in America, to wear these buffalo big fat platform boots and shoes. So each one of these celebrities have really made a fashion statement that we will remember forever. So it's really a history that they have planted into our memories. Okay, so let's switch to how traditional fashion can right away, you would be able to tell what country, culture, belief someone might be by looking at what they wear. That's also really, really important, because we still have that sense of self, where we came from, what we believe in, and the religion. So I went to Egypt and Middle East before, and I really sat down and talked to families and women in particular in the Muslim world. And why is it that in America we may look at that picture on the right? Why is she covering herself? Those are the thoughts that we may have as people who didn't grow up in that culture. So I was fascinated by why they would be wearing that, and what came of this history, of this tradition. So I sat down with the women in Egypt, and I literally asked them, so please tell me, because in America, a lot of us think that, poor you can't play with fashion, you can't show your body. You know, we've come to watch TV shows like Homeland and 24 and terrorists and 9/11 and you know, and sometimes we see them and we're like, oh, you know, we just don't get it, right? So this was a time for me to sit down and really ask them. So the answer was completely surprising to me. It was a family of 3 sisters, so women, and they said, you know, it's the best thing for us because they're called hijabs, by the way. Oh, sorry, hijab, sorry. Hijab. This is what they're wearing. And it's a way for us to really be who we are without having to make choices of what we wear. And actually, then the men will actually get to know us for who we truly are in our intellect. And then, did you have your hand up? Yeah, please.
I was going to, you probably don't remember, but you remember Project Runway and INEP?
Yes.
The finals and all she designed was modest wear?
Yes. Yes. Thank you for bringing that up. Yes. So it's important for these women to actually be all covered up. First off, it's part of their religion. But second, they really love, actually they embrace it. And the only thing that they can play with is their headpiece. So you see on the Why is that? Oh, the other's gonna go back one. Oh, I wanted to go back. I'm so sorry. How do I? Yep, that one, perfect. You see how the headpiece you can play with, you can actually still show your face if you wanted to. A lot of the women are still very traditional. They cover the nose and the mouth. You think about COVID, and you think about all the masks we had to wear. They actually do it already. They probably didn't get much sickness in their countries. But the other one you can do around the neck. So this is fun for you to see. And then, of course, you have the cheongsam in the Chinese tradition, and you have the kimono in the Japanese, and then these are just examples, of course, of different countries. And then the middle one, I love India and their saris and all of the beautiful, gorgeous clothing. And they are used to wearing, I mean, this picture is of a wedding, but they are actually used to wearing as elaborate, as glamorous clothing as this every day, almost every day, which is really cool because when I went to India, everyone was just looking like they're going to a ball or a gala or something like that. And this is just their everyday wear. And then, of course, on the left, as soon as you see that picture, you know he is Russian because that's the traditional Russian outfit, right, costume. And then on the right, same with the colors, the Jamaican colors, African colors, you just know when you see them. So that's what I mean by it's a silent expression. You can actually tell people where you are. Like if I went to a gala and I wanted to represent that I'm Chinese, I probably would put my cheongsam on, which means that you could tell I'm Chinese, right? So I'm going to switch to now talk about entrepreneurial fashion, because I am in the entrepreneur world and I am an investor mainly. And most of the time when I speak to all entrepreneurs who run their own businesses, executives, and they get lost with fashion. So what do they turn to? The signature piece. For example, all of you know who Tony Robbins is. And when I met Tony, I actually asked him, Tony, I've come to a few of your events and I've seen a lot of the YouTube, but you happen to always wear that same navy blue or gray t-shirt. Is that like your signature piece? And he actually told me that yes, he only wears the same pieces every single day. Like literally every time he does his 4 to 8 hour events. Who have been to a Tony Robbins event before here in here? Yeah, he's always wearing the same piece. And so it takes away from the time and effort that he needs to think about fashion. So fashion can actually help you be efficient. And you don't have to think about all the different outfits that you need to wear. You can actually wear that same one piece if that makes you become known for that thing and if you like it and it makes you feel good. Same with Karl Lagerfeld. When I met him, he's always with that black tie, that black straight tie, thin, and then his gloves, right? He made this signature piece. Every time you see him, he's passed away now, but he always has the little chain, the black tie, and the gloves. That's his signature look, right? So this also becomes a statement. A fashion is a statement, is your thing. And then the biggest names in the world, Richard Branson wears the same pair of jeans every day. He says that, actually. Well, probably not the same pair, but same style in 10 pairs. I'm sure he does laundry. He says by sticking to a kind of uniform, he is avoiding a phenomenon called as decision fatigue. Mark Zuckerberg says, I really want to clear my life to make it so that I have to make as few decisions as possible about anything except how to best serve this community. I feel like I'm not doing my job if I spend any of my energy on things that are silly or frivolous about my life. Well, I don't think fashion is silly, but that's his opinion. And then Barack Obama says, you need to focus on your decision-making energy. You need to routinize yourself. So all of these men have a routine set. They just get up, they wear the same thing, they don't have to worry, and they don't put it on themselves to be too emotional about fashion, okay? So that's something to adopt for some of the men and the women in here. And of course, when you talk about fashion, I cannot not talk about the Kardashians, of course. You see how on the top left, every single one of their outfits is kind of like now, as we look at it, more old-fashioned, like back in that era. And then eventually they come down to the left here. They are all matchy-matchy as a family. They're making a statement, right? And then last but not least, they're always matching. If you've seen their fashion pictures or the Christmas cards, and they're very known for that, they always happen to match. So for them, it's an evolvement of who they are. The fashion represents where they were and where they are. It really shows them where they stand for who they are right now. Obviously, compared to the very first picture to the last picture, you can tell they're much more confident with the way they are posing, with the way they pick their outfits, showing more skin and the belly and all that. And they are who they are now because of this confidence and this style. So fashion is our friend who sees us grow and mature. It gives us nostalgia and sentimental feelings. Have you guys known or felt in your closet probably where sometimes you put on a piece of clothing and you're like, I haven't worn this in a long time, but I still just love it. I have clothing that I've had since I was 22 years old, and I still put it on. Actually, it still fits up top, even though I've gained some weight. But yeah, it fits up top, and I'm like, wow, this still fits me, and it feels good. It makes me feel good. So what I'm trying to say is fashion gives you sentimentality. It brings up emotions. And you hope that every day that it can bring up great emotions. It makes you happy. It gives you that foundation to go out into the world to actually make an impact on others. And of course, I have to end my keynote on some bloopers. Because I am a TV and movie producer, so I love bloopers at the end of the movies to make you laugh a little bit and end on a really light note. So I just picked some pictures that I thought was funny, really interesting fashion sense here, no judgments. And then my absolute worst pet peeve are the pants down. I still just don't get that one. I don't have judgments, but I just don't like it, and it doesn't make me feel good. So you are beautiful. Remember that every single day. Remember, fashion should enhance who you are, and I appreciate your time, and I hope you learned something special today and walk away with some good perspective on fashion. Thank you so much.